Hey everyone! How many of you fear if you write your book, nobody's going to buy it? You're not alone. And today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to have a really strong writing style. And what does that mean? So by the end of this video, you're going to have a great idea of the style that you're going to want to use within your book. Because if you can have readers engaged reading your book, guess what that means? More book sales. Hi, I'm Karen Roy, your book writing coach. And for the simplest and easiest ways for you to write a book, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that every Wednesday you'll be notified when I upload a new video. How do you start writing your book? What kind of style do you use? I get asked that from potential authors all the time. And the struggle with a new author or a new writer is that if you're not crystal clear from the beginning, a lot of times that because you just don't know how to start the book, the idea, we put it on the back burner, and believe it or not, we let ourselves get busy on other things. And then the idea kind of becomes stale. It doesn't sound as exciting to us, and self-doubt creeps in and tells us, well, you couldn't have written that book anyhow. But I'm here to say there's a different way. What I'm going to talk to you on this video is really about creating that style and how specific and, direct to the point, but in a really fun reader engagement way without having to go through 27 pages before the reader fully understands what you're even talking about. So we're going to really talk about drilling and getting down to the point in a real conversational way that's going to allow you to sell more books, which then means better book sales. And we all want better book sales. I just want to say congratulations if you're still this far in the video and you're a potential writer, because it's not an easy process. And it really, it kind of takes and digs at some of your insecurities, because we're normal human beings and we always feel like we might be being judged. So, who's going to read your book? You do put a lot of time into writing your book. And that's why today I really want to talk about the style of your writing. And when other videos I've talked about, and I'll add them here, is talking about the promise of your book, what you're delivering to the reader. And I think sometimes we get so engaged about telling our story that we actually don't see it from the reader's perspective. And that was one thing when we were writing our book, we really knew our content. But when we were trying to just talk about it and get our style down, our editor would be like, what are you guys talking about? And it didn't make any sense to us why they didn't understand. So when we're looking at your book and your style, we want to talk about the promise. So what is every chapter? What's the title promising the reader? What is every chapter promising the reader? We want to take that promise and be very distinctive in the points you need to make to come true on your promise. And sometimes if we haven't determined our style, we can write very teacher-esque, like, I'm telling you, this is it. Well, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody is going to enjoy that kind of book. Where if you're sharing the information, but you're really being specific, and there's not a lot of filler, but filler that needs to be in the book is okay. But you're going to get direct and to the point so that the reader is understanding and is engaged right away. Because you know it yourself, if you're engaged with something you're reading or you're watching, you can't put the book down because you want to know, hey, what happened? What was the solution? How did I get there? We're also all time deprived. 24 hours just doesn't seem to have enough hours in a day for us. So if your book can deliver on the promise and get really direct and to the point in a very conversational way, almost like you and I are sitting down in our living room and you're telling me, a few anecdotes of what happened to be able to illustrate your promise through the points. It makes it much easier and more engaging for me as a reader. Otherwise, you just kind of lose the reader and they don't want to read a book like that. So really look at what that reader, where they're coming from, and adapt your style to that communication style that is just back and forth, having a good time, sharing a story. All right, let's talk about better book sales. So when you look at Amazon's top 10, or you think of some of the really big authors that are out there, and you look at the kind of genre they're in, which means category, or the way they've written their book, they could be using humor. They could be using different things that really engage the reader's interest. And we're not going to be able to sell anything if our readers aren't engaged. Maybe you're not going to sell your book. Maybe you're just going to use it for marketing purposes. Whoever you are writing that book for, and however you're going to use the book, it still needs to have some great reader engagement, not just at chapter 1. You want somebody who can't put the book down. And if you read a lot in your genre or your category of the type of book you write, you'll have gotten a lot of different styles, but your personal style is you. It's unique to just you. Whatever that looks like, you need to bring that forth. So when you're thinking about your style and the points you want to bring out within your book, you want to get that message across, reiterated in a different way. But really, at the end of the day, just keep in mind, if the reader isn't engaged, it doesn't matter how great the content is. It's not going to be one of those, I can't put this book down. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to really create a strong book writing style. And I would love for you to drop some comments below. As you know, I always love reading your comments. And if you find this was effective, then feel free to share it with friends, family, and anyone else you think needs to hear it. Until the next time, I'm Karen Roy, your book writing coach. And until we meet, keep writing.